Don't be like, just I put August time in there. Like, no, dude, like what you need to focus on is doing your best and getting in.
Yeah.
And you know deep down when like what you're doing is not the best. I think you've helped me because I had some like popcorn residue, and every time you've messed up, I got to swallow more of the residue. So like,
hey team, welcome back to Life of an Actress. My name is Tanisala, and this channel is all about my life as an actress. Today's video is inspired by a comment I got from Kristen Arnell a while ago. She said, "Loved this video. A suggestion for a future video would be advice for young undergraduate actors." And that's what we're doing today, team. We are going to spend some time with my fellow cohort member, Mazvita Chanakira, who came to Columbia straight from undergrad from Pace University, and I just had a bunch of advice that I think would work for undergraduate actors, and I kind of bounced it off of her. And the structure of the video is that all the advice I give you is by year. So I have advice for freshman year, advice for sophomore year, advice for your junior year, and finally advice for your senior year. And as I give each advice, Maz, as an acting major, is either gonna, agree with me or give her own input. And I hope that helps with both people. Again, I want to thank Kristen for your question and your video idea. Really appreciate it, and I know other people will too. We get off track a lot in this video, so please bear with us. I've never done anything like this before. I was kind of really nervous, so I really hope you guys enjoy this video and you appreciate all the advice. And if you have any questions, comment down below, but also there might be a part 2. There might be a part 2.
But before we get started, I'm going to let Maz actually speak and introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Mazvita Chanakira. I'm currently in Zimbabwe, which is where I'm from. And I was raised in South Africa, and I went to boarding school. And then right after boarding school, I moved to New York and I went to Pace. I got my undergrad in BFA Acting with a minor in film and screen studies. And then I went straight, which is another thing Tena and I are going to talk about, into my master's at Columbia with Tena. And yeah, I mean, I'm loving my experience. I love my cohort so much, and I love the queen herself. Are you on this side of me? I don't know, but whichever side.
I don't know. Oh wait, that side. The one
that
you just
side?
said. Yeah.
Yes. So it's an honor to be in a cohort with her. She's an absolute rock star.
I love you. Okay, so let's dive right into freshman year. My advice to non-acting majors is to tell your professors your goals, y'all. Tell your professors, like, the second day of school, like I did. I went to my theater advisor, and I was like, I want to go to Juilliard. Like, what can I do now? And he gave me a plan. It's Kevin Daly, and he was amazing. And he was just like, we're going to get you into a ton of internships, and we're going to get you into like not get me into shows, but get me auditions for shows. And it's also important to tell your teachers, because they are going to make you accountable, but they're also going to be harder on you. And I think the harder on you part is important for non-actors, because you're probably going to be taking acting classes where people aren't studying acting and people aren't planning on getting an MFA in acting, and they don't take it seriously. And so the teachers are only going to push them, or have gotten used to only pushing them to as far as they want to. But for you, if you've already told them what your goals are, they're going to be a little harder on you, and you need that, and that's very important. And the final part to like telling your professors your goals is that, like, a lot of professors are also graduates of MFA acting programs, and they can either have connections to the program that you are specifically interested in and other programs. So yeah, you get advice from them and all that stuff, but it's someone to keep you accountable and push you. What do you think, Ness, and about that advice?
1000% agree with that. I feel as if it applies for this team over here who are acting majors. I did the same thing as Ken. I don't know if it was the second day. I love her intensity though. It could have been. Yeah, I did the same thing. I went to my header program and I was like, listen, this is what these years are going to look like. And this is where I'm going to end up. I know 10s was Juilliard. Yeah, like I had the goals. I knew I was going to go to grad school when I was 16. So I wasn't coming into my undergrad playing games. Like I already had my life to that extent planned out, you know what I mean? And I think like it was a bit of like a shocker for them, because a lot of, as I'm assuming, like was the same reaction for you, Ten, is like they're not really expecting you to do that. They're kind of like, aren't you just stoked you're like here and you got into into here?
Especially at Pace. It's such a great undergraduate program.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's tough to get into those places, but it's like, for me, my main thing was I know what my dreams are and I know the trajectory in which I want to see my life going. So these are the things that I need to do to get that. And you know, faculty was like supportive of me, of course, but like there was concern. Like some of them were like, but do you feel like you need to be either thinking about that right now as a first year, or wondering if I'm even going to need it? Because as Tina said, a lot of them have their MFAs. So that means they're giving you these BFA programs, maybe you're in a BA program, like they're giving you that with influence from their master's program. So they're like, do you need it? Like a lot of those questions were being asked and kind of like an encouragement to like relax more. But for me, that is relaxation. Like I find like joy and happiness in that level of like life organization. Because for me, it's like, you know, just like we've learned with lockdown and Corona, like we can't control life, but there's certain things where it is in my hands to control. And something like having a goal, yes, I cannot achieve a goal, but to make a goal, I can control that. So I can control that my goal is to get a master's degree.
My second tip for freshman year for non-acting majors is to start reading some books about the art of acting. I think it's really important because it helps you build your philosophy about acting and it helps you learn how to speak about the craft. It also introduces you to people who value this art just as much as people around you value people who are doctors and nurses. It honestly, it helps you value your artistry way more when people talk about it the way acting teachers talk about it in their books. And I would say this is also probably like an overall advice, but to do that throughout the year, start with like the easy books that everybody talks about, you know, Stella Adler on acting, Uta Hagen and all that stuff, and work your way up to like the thick books. And then even by your senior year, like have some of those, what are those things called when people like research papers or something, essays.
That's it.
Yeah, and get into some acting. Yeah, and journals. Like literally, learn how other people talk about the art, so that you can also learn as you experience what your own journey is with the art. You can also learn how to use your own vocabulary and mesh that together. Because sometimes when you don't know how to say something, someone else already said it better than you. So yeah, that's my first advice. This should help you with your interviews for grad school auditions when the time comes, and it will definitely help you with your essays for grad schools when that time comes. Reading these acting books and learning how to speak and have a philosophy about acting. And I'll post some of my favorite books below. I have 4, none of them are here with me, but 2 of them are the William Esper books, both on the Meisner technique, where he like teaches a class and he writes about it for the 2 years. The third one is Meisner's on acting, pretty basic read. And then the 4th one is Larry Moss's book, which I love. And that is a really intense book about acting and makes it sound crazy, and I'm here for it. Maz, what do you think of the advice as an acting major?
I fully agree with that. As I've said to Tina, she inspires me to read more acting books, because I don't tell anyone I'm really bad at like reading them. I don't really read them because I usually, if I have time to read a book, I like pick a novel.
You're a fiction reader?
I am. I love a good fiction. What do you call it? So everything Tina said, acting majors, listen to what she said. My advice is going to like stem into what you started talking about like the fact that you're hearing people converse about this. So I'm going to go with an advice of talk to people who are not acting majors. In your dormitories, a lot of you are going to be living in residence halls in which you're on floors and you have common rooms. Hang out there when you can. I know our schedule is very hectic, and that's the other thing about being an acting major. Like, you do need to accept that a little bit. Like, your life isn't going to really look too much like the life of the movies or other majors at your university. Sometimes, like, our schedules are crazy. You have mad rehearsals, you have line learning, so it's like you're not going to always be as available. So make yourself available, because that influences your acting so much more when you have people in your life who aren't artists too, because those are the people you're representing on stage. So you need to know like how their brains are thinking. Talk to the accountants, like my boyfriend's an engineer. He's a civil engineer, and he helps me so much when I'm learning my lines or like have an audition, because his brain doesn't think like an artist. He thinks like a person, like just your ordinary person. So sometimes like I'll get an audition side and I'm there like doing the most, and I'll be like, da, 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 you know, and he'll be like, Mazvita, no one talks like that. Or something like, you know, something as simple as that would be like, Mazvita, it says here that like she's stressed, like you're acting 10 emotions. All you need to do is just be stressed. And it's like, they see the world in a simpler way. We have a colorful way of seeing the world, which is beautiful. But it also means sometimes if you're only around other actors, which is very easy to do because they'll also be on like your floor in your residence hall, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's fight the urge to always be there. Like a lot of BFA acting families, like at Pace, we call ourselves like the B fam, like you're a family. And it kind of feels that way because you're seeing each other every day. You're probably eating lunch together. So yeah, my advice is be in the world too, the rest of it.
Yeah, I guess that literally segues into my advice, which is enjoy your freshman year. Be a part of it. Live your life. Like me and Maz did say earlier, we're both intense people, especially when it comes to this work, and we already knew what we wanted. And so living our life didn't come first. At least for me, it didn't. It was definitely like something I did after hours of rehearsals or hours of reading. But enjoy your first year of college because, you know, hopefully you're going to get really serious your sophomore and junior year. And because it's freshman year, everything is new to you. You're building relationships that hopefully will last forever. And yeah, that's my, you know, final advice for your freshman year. And to just add what Maz is talking about, how, you know, get to know everything in the world around you. To add on to my book recommendations, don't just read acting books, even though they'll be really great. Also read books about artistry. Learn how other people speak about art. A lot of our teachers have recommended the courage to create to us. So I'll also link that below. But yeah,
I have another one.
Do it.
Just before you go, about the life thing. Another thing about living, like take the opportunities that are offered at your university, like acting majors. Like either you're gonna feel like you're pushed out, or the university might make you feel like you're pushed out just because like your schedule is really intense. So it makes you sometimes feel like the performing arts school is like the only thing you're involved in, which is like amazing that you have that in that community. But like you can do stuff, like try see if you can balance things. Like they told the performing arts majors they couldn't be RAs, you know, like that schedule's too intense. But like I did it, like my roommate, she was a dance major, like she did it, and it's like, don't get me wrong, it was mad hectic, but also cut like half my tuition off. They paid for my room, they paid for my food for all my 3 years like finishing school. So it's like financially, like make those decisions too. Like don't necessarily take no for an answer. Like if a job's kind of like, if you're a performing arts major, you're an acting major, like you might not be able to do this. Like don't take that first read as a no. Ask. Be like, okay, but like I think I can. Because there's opportunities like jobs and things like that people are getting, and not everyone has a lot of money. So if you don't look for those opportunities, don't be discouraged because you're an acting major. I did it, so you can do it.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's definitely a topic for another video, just like money in this art. I have a series coming up called Acting and, where I talk about like acting in certain parts of my life, and I think acting and money.
So good. 10 like it's just title, like as a name, I'm already like, sign me up. I will
it's honestly just gonna
to 1 million people.
I think my 2 first episodes are acting and my spirituality, but then acting and my body. Okay, team, so we are officially on sophomore year. So my first advice for your sophomore year is to start taking notice of what you gain as an actor. And hopefully by this time, if you are a non-acting major, you're probably hopefully you're in an acting class at your university or whatever, or you've already been reading all those acting books and you've kind of started doing some of the activities that are in them. Some of them kind of have like little side activities, but you're learning how to do the craft a bit. And you're realizing like what you do well or what you don't do well. Or if you're in an acting class, your professors are telling you your habits and such. And so my advice is to, like, the example I have is like, if you have a habit of like constantly biting your lip while you're acting, and if you just like, what are you doing? Always do that. Like, find a way to kind of just get rid of that habit. in your journey to getting rid of that habit, like how does your own personal life change? Like what is that habit connected to? And it's basically like, what do you have to change in your own daily life to become a better actor, and taking note of the changes that happen between those two. This is important when applying to this is important when applying to grad schools, because you know, if you do this sophomore year, junior, senior year, you build kind of an understanding of why you are an actor, or what you get from acting, or what acting gives you. And again, it makes it easier for you to talk about it in interviews. When you get to your interviews, it makes you have a better time writing your essays for grad school. But also, most importantly, acting is not easy. Auditioning is not easy. You're not going to always book everything. Knowing why you do what you do and what it gives you and how it helps you be a better person is an intrinsic motor to just always keep going. And that reason is going to change. I have a video about this coming up too, but you know, your reasons for what you do is going to change. But definitely start taking notice of what you gain as an actor. What do you think, Maz?
Nuggets of wisdom. That was so true and so wise, and I fully agree with that. Like, I think that in that same vein of habits, like my note for the actors is embrace notes, y'all. Like, take notes in. And I'm speaking as someone, I hated notes. I don't know about you, kind of like what your journey's been with notes, but in high school, I would be so serious when we were getting notes. Like, you don't even understand. Like, all my friends would be like getting their notes and they're like laughing, haha. And like right now, I would be like so focused, and I'd write all my notes down, and then I'd get back to like my boarding dorm room, and I would like cry and be like, oh my gosh, like look at all these things I did wrong. And I just had like this really like negative relationship with notes. And then I got into my BFA, kept that opinion about notes, did my whole freshman year, kept that opinion about notes. And then I went to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts to do a Shakespeare like summer course. And one of my flatmates, who's now like still one of my friends, Rebecca, we were like sitting in the hallway. It was like a late night after rehearsals and something. And she was just like, I love notes. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she was like, I love getting notes. And she was like, I'm so mad I didn't get notes today. And I was like, because she didn't get notes when we like did some work. And I was like, you're upset you didn't get notes? I was like, when I don't get notes, that's like the best day of my life. And she was like, I hate not having notes because I know I wasn't perfect, because perfect doesn't exist. So what am I supposed to work to tomorrow? I have nothing to work on. And I was like, it literally just changed my entire perspective. And I was sitting in that hallway and I was like, oh my gosh, I've looked at this entirely wrong. Like, I should want notes. I should get stoked, because then I know these are things I can improve on, and that is actually going towards greatness. When I have no notes, I'm not improving. And it's like, how was I just, you know what I mean, sitting on that information? So it's like, take that in. Like, things like habits, don't fight it. Don't treat it as if they're calling you out. They're not calling you out, they're calling you in. They are your faculty. You chose the school, so trust them. Trust that they're not saying these comments to make you feel bad, or because it's a personal attack, or they're trying to embarrass you. They want you to be the best.
Take notes of what you gain as an actor, and if you're an acting major, take notes.
Yeah.
My second advice for your sophomore year is, hopefully you have this opportunity, but audition for everything. If you get cast in it, do it. Do the work. It's something that I will always repeat no matter what. Because if you don't find a way to constantly do the work, then you don't want to be an actor. So yeah, audition for everything. Maz is definitely, as an acting major, gonna have a different perspective, just because, you know, like, it's built into their program to audition and do shows and stuff. But for non-acting majors, I would recommend, you know, either community theater if you can balance it with your actual schoolwork, or just audition for the theater programs, whatever. Like I said earlier, like, a lot of our shows, the main people were non-acting majors, non-theater majors. What else? Just audition for as much as you can when it comes to theater. I think film work can be a skill you can gain later on, but for a non-acting major, focus on finding auditions in your area, auditions at schools. What do you think, Maz?
I love it. I agree. Audition for everything. I fully support that. With acting majors, it's a little bit different. Mainly, I mean, I guess it's BFA program to BFA program, but at Pace, it's like you can't even audition for a main stage show your first year. You only audition like at the end of the year for your sophomore year. So trust your student shows, like audition for student shows. People are doing cool stuff around, like there's student directors, there's BA actors, like there's everybody who's there, and like use those facilities and make those relationships. Because remember, like when you graduate, that's the industry. Like a lot of people are like trying to like know the big names and all of that. Don't get me wrong, do know those people, but at the end of the day, that directing major is who's going to be casting when you get to the age of graduating. Like, you know what I mean? Like those are the people you're going to see in the room 15 years from now. And if you thought you were too good to work with them then, they might remember 15 years later how you know, just thought they weren't it. So definitely weigh in the fact that like you're a student, they're a student. So understand also with a grain of salt when you're in those rehearsals that, you know, don't now like change your philosophy to match whatever your student director is saying or your other student actor is saying, because you're all in a learning environment. So definitely keep that in mind, but audition for stuff.
For sure. And I think my next advice is, if you can't audition, my next advice is read plays. Read tons of them, and maybe even start to curate some kind of list of just like monologues that you like or characters you like that you could use for auditions for grad schools. And I just like also mass, like even for showcase, I've already started making a list of scenes that I would like to work on.
I love it.
Yeah, and
that.
like
when I'm watching shows, I do that. Like even like TV shows and stuff, I just have a notes pad on my laptop, and like it won't even like make sense. I'll just be like, whatever, like Grey's Anatomy, season 3, minute 5. I haven't even watched Grey's Anatomy like but like, you know what I mean? Like just note stuff. Like you don't even have to like now start like printing it out or like trying to imagine who you're doing. No, just be like, I like that scene. That was funky. As Ten said, like I'm reading this play. That's cool. Like don't wait for everyone to give you stuff, because they are factoring in a lot of things when they're getting material for showcase, which I think we'll talk about like senior actors.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll get to.
You're probably going to be really surprised by one of my advice for senior year. But yeah, read plays. And I would say make the effort to look for playwrights who look like you. Yeah, like make the effort.
That is so good. Oh, that feels right. You said it and my ears said yes.
I got you. And because it's sophomore year, sometimes it's hard. It's you know, for certain people, like I was talking to one of my classmates and he said there's no playwright that like writes for Iranian people. Is it Iranian? It's Iranian, right?
Iranian.
Yeah. And he says there's no Iranian playwrights.
He did it for all of us, and I didn't know he'd written it. Same. I was like, he's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
He loves amazing people.
We love. Pay attention to monologues or scenes your classmates do and everything you see, and every time you see something good, just jot it down. And also take the time to actually look for comedy pieces, just because I know my 3 years of auditioning, it was so much easier to find dramatic pieces, and comedy was like non-existent, and I had to like delve into New Play Exchange to find an actual like good contemporary comedic piece.
That is such good advice. That is such good advice.
Thank you. So you agree then as an acting major?
Oh, 100%. Oh my gosh, yes. Like even the last thing you said, like I was with you anyway. And then when you said comedic, I said yes, ma'am, because the struggle is real. Auditioning, like you're throwing spaghetti to the wall and you want it to stick. So don't be like there trying to like really like make this thing work, because like no, like you're not forced to stay with the piece that you picked right at the beginning. If you pick a piece in August and that thing is still trash, like when it's like change the piece. Don't be like just I put August time in there. Like no, dude, like what you need to focus on is doing your best and getting in. And you know deep down when like what you're doing is not the best.
I have a video out there that's like 5 tips to get prepared for MFA Acting program auditions. And my tip was you have to literally love all 4 pieces, not 1, not 2, not 3, all 4. And I'm telling you, that would guarantee you into every school. I made the mistake of only having 3 or 4 pieces that I love, and it hurt my chances. I mean, I'm still happy where I ended up though, but I'm telling you, Emma.
It's very true. You also like you treat what you love with a different essence of respect.
Yeah, and you want
You're
to
not gonna
give what you love. You don't beg for it.
I mean? Exactly.
To
Like
give
I was
it.
out here, I did the same. Like I had a piece that I didn't love. I don't even know if it was one. But like I dropped lines. I did this. I got into the school. It wasn't Columbia, it was another school. But like I did a 30-second Shakespeare monologue. Understand that monologue was 90 seconds. It was the allotted time. But I got in there and I forgot. So I did 2 lines at the beginning and I just jumped to the last 4 lines. And I just looked at them like, yep, I'm done. And they looked at me like, you're done, sis? And I said, yes, sir. Yes, I am. And I got into that school. But the point of the story is I didn't love that. But it's because like I loved the others. That's what we're talking about though. I loved the others and those defended me. That piece I didn't love, it didn't defend me because I couldn't defend it. I forgot the lines because I didn't respect that piece.
Yeah.
I liked it and I knew it was a great piece and like all those other reasons we pick things, but did I love it? No. So did it respect me up there? It embarrassed me up there.
So those were our 3 tips for sophomore year. You know, start taking notice of what you gain as an actor. Don't take habits too seriously. Audition for everything. Do everything. And when you can't really have access to auditions, you know, and also in addition to auditions, if you can do this, read plays by playwrights that look like you. Mm-hmm. Pay attention to whenever you find a comedic piece, even if it's, you know, by someone who doesn't look like you, still like, duh, it's a human being, you can play it. Pay attention to comedic pieces and pay attention to scene work that your other classmates do so that you also know if like something works for you. And now we're gonna move on to junior year. Woo! All right, so if you weren't laser focused before, I hope you're laser focused now. This is advice that worked for me because I was in a program, I was a minor, like I said. If I didn't get into a show, like there was nothing else for me to do. And so I remember specifically, it was sophomore year, I asked my teacher this question, but I was like, hey, dancers, they have rehearsals, musicians have like all these instruments and they can like rehearse and stuff like that. Like what the heck does an actor do? And he's like, why don't you get some monologues together and do a showcase, and just perform them. You can work on them on your own. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. But then it didn't end up happening. What ended up happening, though, this is why I said tell people your goals. He literally hooked me up with a private acting coach that I had all year, my whole sophomore year. And the private acting coach was one of our professors there, and the school paid for my one-on-one time with her. And so, again, go back to freshman year, tell people your goals, right? Yeah, like don't be afraid to ask for help, guys. I had her all sophomore year. And I found my Hurt Village monologue through her. Yeah.
And you slay your Hurt Village monologue. Like y'all, Kenna absolutely tears that monologue up. She is insane. She's insane with her work anyway, but she absolutely slays that piece.
Wow. Thanks, Bubbers. But yeah, I asked for help and that's what I got. But anyways, the first advice he gave me was that, you should do a showcase, but it didn't work out. Fast forward junior year, I did it. I guess my first advice for junior year is to do your own showcase for friends, professors, and family. And when you do it for your professors, tell them when they come. This is going to be different for, again, an acting major because I feel like you have access to that. But for a non-acting major, make a showcase, tell your professors or any kind of coach you have in your life at this point to come and see it and give you notes because these are monologues that you could do for grad school auditions, hopefully. And so, I picked like 5 monologues. I read a bunch of plays at that time and I picked out 2 Shakespeare because obviously you need some classical pieces. And I did a showcase. I put flyers out and my friends came, my teachers came, my classmates came, and it was great. But that is my advice.
A living, breathing inspiration. Like, I'm actually in awe of that story. Like, I know that's remarkable. I know we talk about intensity. No, as in, I'm not even kidding. Like, Tena, because as you even said, like, that does not apply to BFA actors. Like, that, as an acting major, like, that's built in. Like, I know at Pace University, like, they have this really cool system where our final exams are showcases, essentially. So it's like every piece, like, everyone's invited to come. Your fellow classmates are encouraged to come. Like, you can invite anyone to come. And those are your exams. They're in front of everybody. So it's like, you're not thinking about that. So I'm like, if I weren't a theater major and I was a theater minor, would I have done that? I can confidently say I would not have, not even thought of that. But even if someone told me to do that, I would have been like, absolutely not. I don't even know how that is amazing.
My second advice for your junior year is to start interacting with the grad schools you want to go with. And not in a stalker sense, but start seeing the shows that the students are doing. Go see showcases, go see third-year theses, go see, like the school closest to me was Yale, and they had Yale Cabaret, which is like a student-run theater. And so I would go see a bunch of shows there all the time and see actually how their actors work. This helps you build some kind of history with the schools so that, you know, your essays and your need to go to these schools aren't just built on their alumni, but it's built on like the kind of actors they actually produce and the way and what they offer in the programs.
That's good advice. I definitely didn't do that. So I would listen to Tenna. That's such sound advice. I didn't think of doing that. I love that advice. Do that. Another piece of advice, which I'm going to make it connect because I feel like when things connect, it sounds better. So as Tenna was talking about watching people's acting, I want to bring up the conversation of typecasting because in junior year, I know for me and some of my classmates and just like the air at some BFA programs is people might have heard like either what's happened to previous years or, you know, what the current years are stressing about, and like that starts stressing you out, even though it hasn't come to you yet. Juniors, don't think about typecasting. Forget that. Remove it from your mind. And whatever rumors you hear about your program through the grapevine, don't listen to them. I'm team wait till you get there. And then if there's a battle to fight the battle when you're there. If you find out there's stuff that you disagree with, if they are trying to do that and you find that out in senior year, pick it up then. Don't like spend a year stressing about stuff because like a senior at a party told you that that's what your senior year is going to look like.
I think I just have one more advice for junior year, and it's really it's really basic. But you know, if you're take some kind of Shakespeare class, even if it's like one semester long, or watch some Shakespeare on YouTube. I know there's a bunch of like 1 hour workshops with like really big talented actors. Dabble a bit in Shakespeare so that finding classical monologues isn't like the worst event of your life. And it's really not that bad. Again, in the monologue tip video, I have tips for finding classical monologues. But that's my last monologue. That's my last advice for your junior year, preparing for grad school auditions. Yeah. Did you guys do any Shakespeare before your junior year?
I think junior year is our Shakespeare year. No, actually, no, we start in our sophomore year. I won't lie, Pace's program, like their BFA, it's like really jam-packed. And like, yeah, that like sophomore, junior year is like mad hectic. Which I think is like another piece of advice for junior year that I want to give, like my last one too, is junior year is where you start seeing, okay, I'll speak for like Pace's program. I feel like a lot of colleges, BFAs are kind of like that. Like that is when your classes start balancing a bit more. So you do start having kind of like even number of your performing arts classes as well as your academic classes. Try keep calm in terms of maintaining that balance.
We have made it to the end game. It's senior year, all right? Let's get through the basics. Take care of yourself, okay? That's my first advice. I want you to sleep. I want you to also work out. And I also want you to eat right. I need you to feel physically in a high. I also want you to mentally be high. And on top of that, I need you to meditate. I know that sounds weird. And when I got that advice my senior year, I was like, I'm not meditating. But guys, really take the time to spend time with yourself and while you're about to like embark on the journey of MFA acting. Really meditate on why this field. Because I'm telling you, acting will end you if you don't know why you're doing it. That's my first tip, yo. I said what I said.
What?
Yeah, so first tip, self-care, meditate.
Oh my gosh. I like resonate with that 100%. And I think another reason why that's so smart, 10, is to like be doing that in your senior year is preparation for your MFA. Y'all, having your own like separate, this is how I keep my sanity life from your MFA degree is so important because you don't have time to figure it out, if that makes sense. Like you need to already know how that looks for you. And that's okay. Like I know Ten and I even like changed ours. Like we started working out at the beginning of this like year. So that's second semester. So it's not that like you need to know everything you need to do. It's just the fact that like if you are watching this video, you have the amazing opportunity to not make the mistakes that we made. MFA is hectic. It's so hectic. So if you're not making yourself a priority, you will slip. All your time will be going to class, to rehearsals, to other people. Like you can't, and you just have to figure out how that works, and that's gonna look different from each person. Like with me, I realized like I just needed to wake up earlier to get everything done that I needed to do. That doesn't necessarily like fit the life of everybody else, but it's like I wake up at 5 a.m. I do my Bible reading, I pray. That's when I do like my meditation and like my day, my scripture, everything. Then I go to the gym from like 6 to 7. And then like I eat breakfast, whatever, class starts at 9. So it's like my morning looks like that. Yes, I can not do that, but I can also do that and stay Mazvita and stay happy and also get my master's degree.
Yeah, and to keep a positive relationship with this thing that you are pursuing. Sometimes if we don't take care of ourselves, we get angry with the things that we're pursuing and we blame it on it. But okay, so my second advice is Maz, I think it's built into your program, but for non-actors, do another showcase. like I did my showcase my junior year, I did it again my senior year, mostly to see my growth and again to just get advice back. But this time it was on the monologues I was going to actually audition with, to just get that feedback and that practice. Maz, when it comes to doing a showcase your senior year to prepare for grad school auditions, I mean, that's not even the aim when you do showcase for an acting major.
Which is like that is also a bit of a split mentality too, because you don't like disregard the showcase because you have other things, you have other goals, you know what I mean? Like masters has its time, it's coming, that's great. You have a showcase, and remember at this showcase are industry people. They are people who you might see again when you graduate for your MFA showcase. So it's like, don't flippantly treat it, don't like disregard it, give it your all, like fully be present, like take your notes from your teachers, like work with your classmates, pick scenes that you love. So don't play games with that showcase. Because like I mean, like for me, I signed at the end of my showcase, and that had its own journey, which is like a separate chat. Basically, don't disregard it. Like I had meetings with agents, I had meetings with managers from that showcase, and that in itself is even an experience. Performing for people is not a lost opportunity. Performing for industry, because remember, that's a feeling, you want to get used to these feelings. So that is a feeling, being in a state where you're like, oh, I'm not performing for like a bunch of my university friends who love me because they're my friends. I'm not performing for my lecturers who are like proud of me because they just worked with me. No. You're performing for people who have no relationship to you. They don't owe you. These are the only, this will maybe be the first time for some of y'all where you're performing for people who aren't bringing you flowers afterwards because they don't know you from a bar of soap. How they know you is because they're holding your resume and your headshot and they're writing a tick or whatever they write on that piece of paper. Definitely, y'all take showcase seriously. I know you're going to grad school, but respect it. It's giving you.
Also respect your classmates with that. Like, they are betting on this more than you are. So show up for them.
Well, that's so true. Show up for your scene partner. Oh, 10, that's so good. Yeah, respect your classmates for sure.
Okay, y'all, this is my last advice. Maz is totally like not. I don't know if she'll agree, but she did the exact opposite. My number one advice for anybody going from an undergrad program and preparing to get into an MFA Acting program is to not apply after you graduate. I am telling you, I'm watching you, but literally take a year off. And I don't mean take a year off to live your life. I mean take a year off to be an actor in whatever community you are in. I'm talking about, like for me, I moved back home to Boston and I started acting here. And that whole journey, because for me, I didn't take a year off because I wanted to. I took a year off because I didn't get in. But it gave me more than like I could have ever asked for. It gave me confidence in myself as an actor because, for a very long time, when I auditioned for grad schools, I was walking in hoping that they could make me an actor. But when you live in the real world and you're balancing jobs and you don't always have money, and you're doing acting jobs that last 6 weeks for $25, just you realize that you are an actor and that you can do the work and that no one has to give you that title. and you walk into the rooms differently when you're auditioning for MFA acting schools. Instead of like hoping they'll give you something, you know that you're going to give them something. And that's honestly my biggest tip, guys. Don't apply to grad schools after you graduate immediately. Like,
but the thing is, like, you heard me umming and eyeing to you because that's the thing, y'all. Like, you can take a different path in life and still agree with somebody's choices. Like, I'm an international student. That in itself is a factor. Yeah. So I'm on a student visa. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna go home. For me as Mazvita, another Zimbabwean might make a different choice. But as Mazvita, I'm not flying back and then trying to come back inside. It's a mission, all right? Visas, all of that, it's a whole tea. You get an OPT and CPT and all these things international students know. If you don't know, let me know. I'll talk you through them. I know the mill. Like, I have friends who didn't do the grad school route who are international students. They're still in the States now because they're, you know, doing all these other like working visas, all this other stuff. It's just that for me, that's something I didn't want to do yet, right? Again, that doesn't apply to everybody. Another thing, I started working in my junior year. I started working with orphans in Zimbabwe using acting techniques to help them with communication skills and integrating into society. So that's another factor for me. That's something I want to do with my life now, as well as till the day I die. I want that to be programs that run in not only Zimbabwe, but in the continent of Africa. So it's like, that's a goal for me. You know what I mean? Those are things that I need.
Which you shall achieve.
It's like, I'm not putting a year off of that because I know I have two things I want to be doing. I want to be acting and all the reasons we do what we do. And I love acting, and don't get me wrong, I want to be on the stage. But I also have I don't have to, I want the social responsibility of working with orphans, doing what I love. So yeah, I'm going to go into grad school right after because I need that time to be moving. I don't have the time. But the reason I gave examples is to just show how like everything Tenna said is still right, even after me telling you why I did it, what I did. So in other words, take a break, but also don't take a break.
Just because I want to like actually cut this short, it's getting a little lengthy and it's 2 o'clock. Maz, in our earlier take of this, spoke of summer courses. And I think I'm just gonna actually hit Maz up and probably like a month or so after we get into class, we're gonna talk about taking summer courses while you're an undergraduate student, but we're also gonna talk about being an international student, being an MFA, just being an actor in foreign land or whatever. It's foreign to you because
it is. I love that title. That is not what people say, but yes. Yes. An international actor in foreign land is from now a global term.
So I think those two things are definitely coming up like for facts. Okay, team, thank you so much for hanging out with me and Maz today. I had so much fun doing this. I feel like I might make more of these. Please comment below if you want to like me to interview more of my classmates for specific types of MFA actors. This was just bouncing ideas off of you, Maz, was just a ball.
I had a lot of fun. I forgot that we were filming this for your channel. I literally just felt like we were on like a FaceTime call, just going through our undergrad lives. Like this, the way of doing this, I just enjoyed it, and I enjoyed being able to share and break down. And you did an amazing job of hosting us through that and like leading me through it. I felt so taken care of, and I had so much fun.
Yeah, thank y'all for watching this video. See you guys later. Don't know when, but bye.
Bye, y'all.
Hey team, I really hope you guys enjoy that. If you have any questions for me or Maz, we will be making a part 2 to this video where she talks about summer courses, being an international student, being signed with an agent while being an MFA actor, and just like a whole bunch of other stuff. If you want to continue the conversation we're having now, comment below and send me your questions, and you know, we'll have a ball. Oh my god, I don't know how to do this anymore. But thank you so much for watching my videos. Please comment, like, and subscribe. I will be posting Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. Yeah, bye.